Hello, good morning, and you are very, very welcome to Shaftesbury Park here, the home of the Dings Crusaders, down in Bristol for Bristol's fourth round Tyrrells Premier 15s game against Wasps. And it really is a proper game, this one. Two sides who have 2 wins out of the opening 3 rounds, but have really lofty ambitions this season, of course. The threat of relegation, in inverted commas, at the end of the season. A top 6 finish is absolutely vital, but of course was semi-finalists in the last 2 years. My name's Johnny Hound. Alongside me today, England's 7th international, 15th international World Cup winner, Olympian Heather Fisher is alongside for Bristol Bears against Wasps Ladies here from Shaftesbury Park in Bristol. Well, let's have a look at how round 4 shapes up. The table first, Harlequins Ladies and Saracens, of course, the last 2 finals played between these 2 sides. They're leading the way on maximum points, of course, and then Wasps semi-finalists the last 2 years, tucked in at 3rd. And Bristol on the same amount of points, but very, very different games coming into this one. Worcester still without to register a point. And Bristol, they're in 4th. Richmond have bounced back from that incredible first round loss, over 100 points to Harlequins, up in 8th. So round 4 shapes up like this early game here at 12 o'clock at Shaftesbury Park, and then Darlington at Modern Park, 1 o'clock kickoff against Harlequins Ladies. Harlequins on their travels. Loughborough Lightning entertain Freerwood Waterloo. It should be a tough one, that one. Gloucester Hartbury, rather coughed and spluttered peaks and troughs in the opening few rounds, but they entertain Richmond Women, who are looking to get a win away from home. And then on Sunday, tomorrow, Saracens Women entertain Worcester. Worcester, of course, looking for their first points of the campaign. Well, let's hear from both coaches now. Lucy Lomax caught up with both of them slightly earlier on.
Kim, you're back at home this week. You're coming off the back of 2 back-to-back wins. How confident are you feeling going into this game?
Yeah, we do have a lot of confidence, but we know it's going to be a tough game for us today. But yeah, coming off back 2 wins, and our defence has been absolutely fantastic so far. So yeah, feeling pretty confident.
And only conceded 1 try over the past 2 games. As you mentioned, your defence there. How important will that play today?
That's massive credit to the girls. They've worked really hard on their defence this pre-season, and yeah, defence does win games, doesn't it? So the better we can be defensively, the harder they have to work in attack. So it'll be huge today. Our defence will be huge.
And what sort of game plan are you expecting from this Wasps side this afternoon?
Well, they've got a lot of threats. They've got some good threats in the backs. Abby Dow's very quick and elusive runner, and then Harriet Miller-Mills at 8 is a fantastic ball carrier. Actually, really good to see her back out of injury for a fair while. So yeah, I think a physical game but if they can get the ball to their backs, then they will have threats out there, and we'll have to make sure that our defence is on point.
Thank you very much. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Okay, are we looking? Are you?
Interesting thoughts from both the coaches. We've spoken to them before this game, and they understand, don't they? It's a really, really tough proposition between these 2, 3rd and 4th in the table. And Wasps came down last night, actually realised after the Loughborough result that Bristol had last week that this is a proper game. And Kim Oliver has selected this side. Minimal changes, of course, going off the back of the last round, just 3 in all. Cunningham and Lillicrap come into the second row. Holly Cunningham and Sian Lillicrap into that second row, and Jeffries in behind. Poppy Leach comes in on the open side, the England international, all behind Sarah Byrne, who just seems to get better and better, and she's still only 22 years of age. In the backs, Eleanor Snowsill, such a committed player for the Bristol Bears over the years, runs the show at 10, and Lucy Atwood has been in absolutely superb form. 3 tries already this term. Player of the year last year. She seems to have picked up where she left off last season, with Lauren Smith, the young Welsh international, in behind at fullback. Well, for Wasps, again, just 3 changes for them. In the front row, Isabella Rico Fasquelle comes in at loose head in place of the experienced international Claire Purdy, or Cripps as she is now. Double change in the engine room. Alexander Powell and Elizabeth Brake come in there. Brake was playing in the back row last week. So Sarah Mitchelson wears 6, Claire Malloy 7, Harriet Miller-Mills at 8. You will struggle to find a better back row, certainly balance-wise, in the Tyrrells Premier 15s. Hannah Edwards plays at 10, Lucy Nye at 9, resisting the chance to play Claudia MacDonald, the England international, at 9. Kate Alder will lead from the front as ever at 12. Gemma Rowland's been in great form with her offloading ability. And Katie Mason and Abby Dow, both England internationals, have been swapping and changing, but it is a devastating back three. Tova Dirk, of course, has jet shoes. And kick loosely to this back three at your peril, Bristol. On the benches, well, the big name really is Claudia MacDonald. Made a name for herself in the summer tour in San Diego, the Super Series, playing at scrum half and then on the wing. Yes, she possesses that much pace. And on the Bristol Bears women's bench, Daisy Mays there at 19 and Rebecca Hughes at 21. And finally, enough from me, Heather Fisher.
Finally!
Yeah, my goodness. Good morning. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you, Johnny?
Very, very well indeed. How was Glendale for you?
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know how hard it is running in altitude, Johnny?
No, never tried to run, let alone at altitude.
I was out of breath just walking to the pitch. No, it was really tough. It was a great start for us in terms of obviously qualified for the Olympics in the summer and the Europeans, which is a great result for Team GB now. Takes us kind of... It just eases the pressure this season in terms of where we move forward. So there's almost no rush to get the results we need. However, there is always a rush because you always want to succeed, you always want to do well. We ended up coming 9th. We lost to New Zealand. They were literally on fire, aren't they always, the All Blacks?
Yep.
But generally speaking, it's a solid start for us. You know, we've literally done 2 weeks of pre-season, so it's all about building towards the Olympic Games, to be honest.
Building nicely for Tokyo 2020. Bristol Bears Women against Wasps Ladies here from Shaftesbury Park. The first of the live streams on England.com, of course, and you can watch on the Facebook page, England Rugby Facebook page, the England Rugby YouTube channel, and of course on the Tyrrells Premier 15's website. Let's move on to today's game then, Heather. Yes, there's some really good clashes, of course. Everyone will look to Harlequins and Saracens when they clash in the league, but these teams just dropping in behind those two, the likes of Wasps, the likes of Bristol, Loughborough, when these teams meet, really, really crucial games.
Yeah, totally, Johnny. To be honest, like you said, there's not much in it. And actually, if you take away like the Saracens, obviously, as we know, Saracens are in the final nearly every year, aren't they? But it's always then a real close dynamics between Loughborough Lightning, Wasps, Bristol, and it's all to play for. And I think it's just bigger than the game of just what they're playing today. It's like what they're representing, it's their ambitions, what they want to do as young girls, obviously growing into the setup. So it's always the bigger picture of what they're aiming for. And I think, to be honest, it's going to be a really exciting game. It's always a close one between them. And you've got some exciting players on the pitch.
And of course the top 4 go through each of those playoffs, the semi-finals, and then anything can happen. Let's drill down into first of all the home side. If we look down the team list, I mean the eye is certainly drawn to the internationals, of course. Not a huge amount of England internationals, tend to go to Saracens, Queens, Loughborough, that kind of thing. But some Welsh internationals in here, and Sarah Byrne, one of those starlets.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic player. I love watching her go. She's so dynamic. But you've got the likes of Harriet Miller-Mills back in the setup. You know, you've got the likes of Snow Hill playing for Bristol today, and you know she's got great experience. Last year played for the Barbars, so she's got great experience behind her. So it's going to be exciting.
And then for London Wasps, well, their backs have been on fire, haven't they? Gemma Rowland, Kate Alder in the midfield, the rudders there, Abby Dowling and Katie Mason just swapping positions again today, wing to fullback. As Harriet Miller-Mills just does her final warm-up.
Yeah, she's going to be exciting to see as well. The fact that she's come from the 7s game for 15s. You know, you've got a lot of these players who are kind of playing for the Army, playing for their club 15s, playing 7s internationals. They've got a different background. But she's going to make it an interesting contest. And it'd be exciting to see Katie Mason go just because of her experience in terms of 7s.
So Bristol Women off the back of 2 wins. Waterloo last week, Loughborough the week before. Wasps, well, 2 wins in their opening 3 matches as well. Darlington Moden Park Sharks last week, 29-14. Lost to Gloucester the week before, but opened their campaign with a win against Worcester. Both with ambitions of top 4 finishes. Know how important beating the people in and around you in the table is today.
Yeah.
Two clubs with very lofty ambitions. Two teams with great coaches at the helm. We're all set then to kick off round 4, the Tyrrells Premier 15s. Long kick-off from Bristol. And Lucy and I get straight into the game. Liz Craig, she really is a great carrier of the ball.
Okay, hold, go. Okay.
And Hannah Edwards clears the line, and nice controlled start from Wasps.
Yeah, totally a great initial, impact from Mason, just taking it forward. It's one of the main principles to talk about in rugby, is that just go forward, and there's nothing more than when you look up and your player's taking it forward. But like you said, out the 22, controlled into a line out, just takes that pressure off.
Good exit, isn't it? It's that those buzzwords. Good exit from Wasps. Takes play up to the 10-metre line, just inside Bristol's half. Poppy Leach for the line out win, and a snow sill. Leading some of the big runners. Marston that time, the number 8. A little bit of space on the left-hand side. Boot to ball, and Abby Dowell is coming across. It's a really, really good kick. What Abby Dowell do here? Well, she uses her pace and the fend, and then she meets Sarah Byrne. Welcome to the game, Abby Dowell.
That was a big welcome, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just? Full welcoming committee from Sarah Byrne. No, you're not running out of the 22. All set up for that millimetre perfect kick.
Stolen by goal!
But it's been turned over by Wasps on the floor. Nye.
We're still fresh into this season, aren't we, Johnny? So it's going to be a contest the first 5 minutes, do you reckon?
Yes, an arm wrestle, isn't it? It's going to be for a while. Evenly matched, really. The table tells us that story. Murray Fields. Lily Stoger. Goddard, but known as Lily Stoger. Snowsill in at 9, then Leach just popping into that midfield. There's some heavy runners there. Burgess again, a little half break. Marston, good hands. Nelson, Murray, Jeffries up to that 22. Nice continuity here from the Bears. Good ball retention, a little dummy around the fringes. Nice work from Lucy Burgess. Just makes the back rowers think, doesn't it, for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it keeps them on their toes, Johnny.
You would know.
Let's say we always know that, don't we?
Wasps' defence so far is good, with a sustained period of possession from the Bears. But Cunningham is through. Nielsen. Numbers and space on that right-hand side. They come left, though, and go round the fringes. Was that the right decision? Marston waits. Third carry of the game already for the number 8. She's driven back. Possession is still there for Bristol, though. Good start from the home side. Keddy. Jeffries again. Made that break down the left-hand side. Leach has repelled still. Penalty coming to Bristol. Advantage was being played. Right in front of the sticks.
Offside.
Got your captain's armband on. What's the decision here?
To be honest, I would go for a line out and I'll keep the pressure on. It's the start of the game, home ground. They've got momentum. I would maintain momentum and go for a line out and go for the points.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. There's impetus with what Bristol are doing at the moment. Gaining ground, finding a few little holes here and there. But what do we know?
Obviously not a lot.
Clearly nothing.
Yeah, I think there's one of two ways to look at this, because, you can almost talk about getting 3 points on the board and just taking that pressure off. There is a home game. They do want to win. The pressure of there to be able to perform is there. They've maintained possession and momentum quite well. So coming away in the 22 in that red area with 3 points would be good. However, you've still got 60, 70 minutes of rugby behind you. Therefore, why not take the chance for a line out and back you forwards?
Well, the decision has been made to get some points on the board to reward what has been a good opening 4 minutes for Bristol here at home. Snowsill. easy enough for Eleanor Snowsill. Welsh international, over 50 caps now for her country.
Yeah, she brings so much experience, and she'll be like the conductor. She'll be literally organising those backs left, right and centre and bringing the forwards into her game, which is what she's great at.
Yeah, cool, calm customer. Spoke to Kim Oliver, the Bristol head coach, in the week, and she was saying just how much commitment Eleanor Snowsill has given to Bristol over the years. Helps the youngsters out in the squad a huge amount as well. That's exactly what you want from experienced players. And easy enough kick for her, a nerve settler should she have needed it. Right in front of the sticks, and it's Bristol 3. Wasps yet to score. Edwards just outside the 22 with a restart. Cheyenne Lillycrap. Comfortable enough. Marston not so comfortable. Comes off a boot, and Wasps can play here. Rowland. Alder has a juggle. Abby Dow tries to get on the outside, but they are very aware, alert of the threat that Abby Dow poses. 2 tries last week against DMP Sharks. One against Gloucester as well. Rico. Isabel Rico, the Spanish captain. And they've won a penalty, Wasps, and an opportunity here. Claire Malloy is asking just to calm things down, just take a moment. And they do go into the corner. It's a little far out for the kick to goal. And Wasps will have this attacking line out now.
Yeah, and it's not a bad option. I think Wasps look a little bit unsettled at the moment, to be honest. They're quite flat, and there's a lot to be said in playing flat because you're playing right in the eye of the defenders. However, if they can come onto the ball a bit more pace, I think they can really use those inside runners really well.
Talking to Giselle May, the grand fromage of the Wasps. Earlier on, saying just how important this game is to them. They came down last night with this early kick-off, and they're driving this line out. It's been a weapon for them. And the referee raises his arm, as does Giselle May, the right in front of us. And that risk and reward of going to the corner, going for the line out. They have their try. Who is at the bottom of the bodies? Let's have a look. Great drive here. Body position's not bad at all. And who's bottom of the pile? I think it's Isabel Rico. So the replay guys carry this one on. So Wasps responds straight away. Looks like it was Hannah West who went over for the try, just getting some help from the Wasps coaches.
You know what it's like though, Johnny? All forwards count as one. If someone's going to go with that try line and more, we all count. Come on.
Yeah, forwards try, front rowers try. We said it was going to be a game, didn't we? And we have got a game already.
Yeah, we're literally not in the first 10 minutes, and it's a real close one already. But we know it's going to be defensively real tough, but attackingly, they're going to have to bring their A games.
The attack has been king so far. A few gaps in the defensive lines. Maloney, the Irish international, one of the handful of signings from Wasps in the summer. Wider to Dow. She goes downtown, right down into the middle of the park for Lauren Smith. That's Claire Malloy, if you didn't know Lauren Smith. Ireland international, taking a break from international duties this season. That's why not announced in the recent Ireland squad. And Maloney is alongside McMahon, both in the Wasps 22 today. Great continuity, great pace to this game.
Yeah, and Johnny, you know, Bristol are playing really, Wasps are playing really good vision. For Abby Dowd to see that kick down the side, you know, it looks easy. From when we stand up here, it looks easy to just be able to see the space and kick it where the space is. But space is not always easy to find when the pressure's right in front of you. So, you know, it's a good exit plan. They're playing well. They're retaining the possession really well. And Bristol are really holding their defence well. Their spacings are really good. Their organisation's very good.
Bristol just take their time coming into this line out.
I tell you what, if only we had this much time in sevens.
Yeah, okay. Again, look at that line out. That's textbook stuff at set piece from Bristol.
Yeah, we're right in the vision of that. It's a great throw.
Great throw, great lift, timing was spot on, and the drive as well. Look at the body positions. Wasps have done well just to halt that initially now. Snowsill into that midfield, outward. They saw her coming. She's the danger lady in this midfield for the Bears. Leach, Poppy Leach. And if there's anyone getting the better of the breakdown at the moment, I suppose it's possibly not a surprise when you've got Claire Malloy in the ranks.
Yeah, totally.
But it is definitely Wasps. That was Hannah West, I think, who did very, very well on the ground. Penalty to Wasps.
Yeah,
They can relieve the pressure.
Yeah, Johnny, to be honest, you know, the small moments, we talk about when there's little moments in a game, whether it's in the 11th minute or the 60th minute, those little moments really do count. And it just takes that pressure off, it settles you into the game. And once you're settled as a player, you just literally, you play with your flair and you just be able to play. So those little moments are really important, and that would be a massive win for Wasps.
After such a good build-up from Bristol from the line-out. Kate Holder, a line she has run and run and run and will continue to run and run and run for Wasps. Isabel Rico, the Spanish international, likes to have ball in hand. For Truvite, German international, wearing 18. Holder, Marston with a tackle. Sinai again. Gemma Rowland attacking that ball at Bears midfield. Understand the threat of Gemma Rowland with the offloading ability. Already scored a couple of tries from her offloads this season. Alex Powell just coming back after horrific knee injury, but looks like she's been held up. If that ball doesn't come out, of course, Wasps have taken that ball in. It's held up, it's not come out, and therefore a Bristol scrum.
Yeah, there is that responsibility, Johnny, as a player. If you're going to take that ball in, you make sure you retain that ball and you make sure you bring it back on your side. You know, but it is great to see Harriet Miller-Mills back on the pitch. An absolutely amazing player, being a great asset to England, and hopefully will be in the coming future, in there this year especially. But Wasps playing well. You know, I'd like to see a bit more tempo at the breakdown. I think their breakdown is a bit slightly slow. If we can just speed that tempo up a little bit, there are opportunities, especially on the blind side.
Heather Fisher with her magnifying glass out has identified some space down the blind side. We've got the Wasps coaches just in front of us. Perhaps they're the analysis. Perhaps he's taking some tips, listening to your commentary.
Really, I've got no words. I am a forward. I do know a little bit.
You know a great deal. Your experience is long and vast and exalted. Referee wants to just have a little check. James Milner-Woodcock is the referee, assisted by Alistair Bolton and Nick Marshall. Just wants to go around that other side. We thought we might have a Claire Cripps against Sarah Byrne, the old and the new of the England squad, or used to be. It's not to be. Isabel Rico up against Sarah Byrne.
Yeah, she's got to work cut out, hasn't she?
Very experienced campaigner is Isabel Rico, but Sarah Byrne has got the better of her there. We know all about Sarah Byrne and her ability with ball in hand. Of course, a former back rower. We see her scoring ridiculous tries. She really scored 3 tries this season. Sarah Byrne, she does love to score, and one against Loughborough, 25 metres out. Just Forrest Gump impression.
To be honest, she's just, you know, from the moment she stepped on the pitch, she's a brilliant player. She runs so dynamically. She's got no fear, and you know, I love watching her play, to be honest. And she's, like you said, she's 22 years old. It's crazy. She's crazy young, but she does everything with conviction. She's got great confidence, and she's got a great future ahead of her.
Yeah, nearing 30 caps now. Started 4 out of the 5 World Cup games, including the final. Player of the match in the semi-final in 2017 against France. Marston comes off the back of the line out. Marston, powerful stuff from the number 8. She's gone the other way, former centre, now in that back row. Phoebe Murray is out wide here, but it won't get to her because the defence is there and up very, very quickly from Wasps. Clara Nielsen, the co-captain, alongside Eleanor Snowsill, can't keep hold of it.
Yeah, it's great to see Wasps get off the line. You know, a lot of defences hold back and sit back, and you know, you've got to be brave to be able to step up and take that line up. You have to be brave, and if one's going to go, you've got to follow your teammates up. So it's great just to see that pressure put on. If you look up and you've got a line defence in front of you as a player, you take your eye off that ball for a split second. This is what happens.
And it really is that quick, isn't it, at this level?
Yeah, when you look up and, you know, it is quick. You know, like I said, from here it makes it look easy, but these players, you know, work full time, they train full time, you know, their work's cut out, and this will mean a lot to them. So the fact they're really stepping up in defence is really good.
Claire Malloy trying to feverishly push that ball back on the Wasp side. Alex Powell driven on by Rico. But Nora Bortrevide came over to England, starting at St Mary's to play rugby. Wasp picked her up and she's never really looked back since. Tovadek trying to keep that one in. It's the great run off the back of the line out.
Yeah, powerful leg drive, you know, and trying to get a fend out. You know, it's nice to see just the power is just powering over. You know, we talk about something simple like powering over, but that isn't an easy thing to do. But so having that confidence to drive through, ball in 2 hands would be nice, and then really driving through and getting a fend out.
You'd be licking your lips then, wouldn't you? Ball on the back of the line out with a 9 in front of you.
I literally love it.
Yes, please.
It's a back row's dream.
There's a back rower taking the line out, Poppy Leaks. They've used her a lot in the line out so far. Lucy Atwood, been flirting with the England squad the last couple of seasons. But again, it's Wasps getting over that ball really quickly and winning the penalty. And these penalties at the breakdown will just begin to come up over the horizon for Bristol now, for their captains, for their coach, just to say, got to cut those penalties out at the breakdown. Let's be started. I don't quite understand that one as well, because a set line out move, you know, it's to go to 13. You get the players there quickly. Compliment to Wasps.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the moment we're still. It looks like, it feels like we're still trying to work each other out. They're still trying to work out where the space is, where the weaknesses are, where they can play. But I'd like to see Wasps stretch it a bit more. You know, I feel like, you know, Bristol Bears are really trying to come onto the ball, really trying to power over, and they're making the most of it. You know, Wasps have been the 22 once, they've obviously got a try from it, but I'd really like to see them starting to play out of the 22 into the halfway.
You say they've been accurate so far, Wasps. One try from their one visit, not straight of the line out. We were playing advantage, so Bristol will have the scrum. Started the campaign at home to Saracens de Bristol. 35-22 they went down that day, but talking to the management this week, had chances and possibly should have won the game, took their foot right off the gas. They're becoming sort of comeback queens, aren't they, Saracens at the moment? And then that impressive victory over Loughborough. And of course last week nilled forward Waterloo 36 points to nil.
Yeah, I think from hearing from the Saracens girls, what's impressive is the fact they were losing at half-time against Loughborough Lightning. So to have to come back, you know, there is almost a pressure on. When you keep performing, when you keep winning games, the pressure is on then. How well can you keep winning games, and can you keep winning games? You know, it's not a fluke, they just win. You know, it is an art in how they play. But to be down at half-time and still down 20 minutes to go and to pick it up and then to win a game is a very different mentality, Johnny. So, you know, fair play to us for the Saracens for leading how they are.
The sadder I am, I was watching a DVD from many years ago, England World Beaters, the men's side, 2002, came back against Australia. And Andy Robinson saying on the sideline and on the film, who said we couldn't come from behind. It's a skill, different mindset, as you say. Most teams like to get out in front. But enough of how boring my life is. We're back to this game, and Wasps still winning penalties. Still winning penalties at the breakdown. It's a couple in quick succession now. I expect Kim Oliver and her side will just be getting some messages on. Let's just be squeaky clean. Just for the next 5 minutes, let's just let Wasps have the ball.
But that takes then your leaders to really step up, Johnny, and say, let's lead the breakdown. You know, let's get in there quick, let's leave it, let's get set. And if we're not going to put pressure on the breakdown to get the ball back, let's put the line speed on and let's go and get the ball back with our line speed.
Because in these early phases, we're just through the first quarter, you're painting pictures for the referee with a bit of scrum time, with a bit of the breakdown. Roll it. Nice little pass for her to Maloney. Nye. Down. Really long, but it's intercepted by Murray. Phoebe Murray, only 20 years of age. Ever present so far this season. Marston this time, the little decoy player, Rico. Looked to turn that ball over and she would have been fine, except the fact she wasn't on her feet.
Yes, but going
it's
back,
a small little point.
Yeah, it is. But going back to Wasps, you know, I would you know it's going to be a breakdown. You know you've got to get your number 9 there. You know what's coming, so get there.
Disappointing. Didn't find their touch on the penalty. Gives Burgess the chance now. Smith, Kate Older, brilliant work from her. Smashed Stoger all the way back, and look where they are now, purely because of the Wasps captain. That's brilliant work from Kate Older. She does it week in, week out, season after season. Complete team player. Does it all with a smile on her face. Snowsill. Nielsen drafted into that England squad for the Super Series in the summer in San Diego. Not sure whether Mitchelson was from the back feet there. There is the ball. Lucy Burgess shoves on to Leach. It's brilliant hands from Jeffries. Looking around now, finds Leach again. Nice 1-2 between the back rowers. Bristol again here on the attack. Lillicrap. Nye again. Fired out from Scouse. Stoger. Nye onto Leach. Into the heart of that Wasp defence, and it's again Rico, the loose head, with another tackle. She has made plenty. Marston to Leach. Tracking down from Mitchelson. Hunting her down. Sarah Byrne. Big fan on Hannah Edwards. Hannah Edwards has got straight back on her feet, and that's a feat in itself. You see this defensive line from Wasps. Just about to say, superb. Hardly any gaps that Eleanor Snowsill has found one. Nielsen against her opposite number, Maloney. Leach again, very heavily involved in this Opening 25 minutes. Nye back inside. Just can't seem to find a way through at the moment. Certainly not with one out runners. It's good from Leach. He left the ball alone, got back to her feet and drove on again. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess flicks it. Nielsen was there. Just couldn't take the ball.
Oh, sugar lumps.
Sugar lumps, indeed. Is that a technical phrase or?
Got so excited, you know, geez, Wasps' defence is so good. To be able to go up and down, back on your line every time is such hard work, and they've kept the pressure on the whole time. I feel like Wasps deserve literally to be able to hold that out. But like you said, one out runners from Bristol Bears is not going to get them over that try line. They need to have to shift that ball a bit wider and play behind that back line.
I was just going to say, yeah, well, what other options? I mean, we saw Poppy Leach there. Ball to ground, leave the ball alone straight through the middle.
Yeah. They've
got to try something different here, haven't they, Bristol?
Yeah, I totally agree. Wasps are coming up really good and really straight and really square, which is really good because they're veering up really well. However, Bristol aren't really seeing that, so they're moving the ball really well from the breakdown to 10. But then our first receiver, we can always play behind to 13 and then direct. We've got to be direct. That's going to put Wasps under pressure. For Wasps to be able to make those tackles go up and back is really hard work. Trust me, Johnny, I've been there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, seen you, commentate on you.
Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad. But you've got to keep that back line honest, and Bristol got fair play. They got through really well. That should have been executed. I'd expect that to be executed.
There's a lovely break from Lucy Burgess, the local lady, product of the SGC College Rugby programme. Plenty of these players come through that programme. A little bit of England Sevens in Ukraine earlier this year. Penalty Wasps, this time it's flip-flop. Now Wasps to get in the penalty. Clear communication from the referee as well. Strong position from Wasps, and Bristol went straight down. I guess another little tactic might be just to pop that ball behind that flat line coming up very quickly as one. Just a little dig, probably a little grubber through.
You got it. You know, I'd love to do a grubber through in my little career. Little grubber through, a little chip over.
I'm sure your teammates would.
They were like, Fisher, keep it in hand, will you?
Yeah, Fish, keep it in hand. Just
keep
run.
It in hand, just run.
Just run hard and fast.
Yeah, no, you're right. You know, with half an hour into the game, Johnny, you have to change the picture. The picture is not changing at the moment. We're going for line out. We're taking it up. I don't really think players have been brave enough in attack. I think in defence we've been really brave and both sides are getting off the line. However, who can be braver in attack? Who can move that ball and shift it behind, like you said, behind the line? You know, we're using the ball back inside quite a lot, but it's quite predictable, and it's playing into Wasps' hand for Bristol because they're coming up so square.
I mean, two of the best defensive sides in the league so far. I mean, of course, early days. This is the start of round 4, of course. But Wasps have only conceded 7 tries in those opening 3 games. Top of the pile is Harlequins. Bristol only conceded 6 coming in today, so now 7. They both like scoring tries as well, top of those lists as well.
Yeah, and I think it'd be quite nice to get Katie Mason on. You know, she's on the wing today, and we can't underestimate. You need your players like Katie Mason on the wing to step up. They see the bigger picture. There is so much space in front of our wingers at the moment, and I don't really feel like they're being utilised enough. And I don't think Bristol are really being tested either way. They're using their width really well, Bristol are. I don't think Wasps are using theirs yet. But to be fair, if I can get a bit more from Katie Mason, her speed, you know, when she's off, she is off.
Been a fine defensive display so far from Wasps. I wonder whether they just say, well, look, first 20 minutes, first half an hour, let's just absorb what they've got at home, and then we'll go from there. Talking about Katie Mason, there she is, right on cue. Read that situation very well. Kate Older with the charge down on Eleanor Snowsill. And then Poppy Leach has to go down onto that ball. Counter ruck from Wasps. Are they sealing that space? Do they fill that space illegally? Bristol, no, says the referee. A few arms up in front of us in the crowd. They are wearing gold and black though, so probably to be expected. And look where Bristol are now.
Yeah, it literally is very even Stevens at the moment, isn't it, Johnny? You know, there's no weather conditions at the moment. There's not even a wind in sight. But the fact that the players probably aren't used to playing, it's a very fast pitch, 4G pitch, so it's a fast pitch. Something to be considered because, you know, from up here we might be saying just do this or just have a run here. But the pitch, it will be a fast pitch.
And I mean, the actual pace of the game, the opening 30 minutes now, tremendous pace to it. They're not hanging around at scrum time, they're not hanging around at line-out time. The general pace of this game has been very, very fast, and I just wonder whether that's going to tell come the final quarter.
Yeah, who fatigues first almost. Yeah, I do feel like you said earlier, they are trying to soak up the pressure at the moment. But each coach, you know, Giselle and Kim will both have their separate game plans. Both in a way, you know, great coaches with great flair will let their players play. A game is always lost or won, I believe, in the last 20 minutes anyway, Johnny.
We shall see if your crystal ball is working well. Bristol came up a little hard there. Did make attempts to go back. The referee's happy to let play continue with Lucy Knight. Pulls it back. Edwards. Alder is taken high by Sarah Byrne. She does not go down easily, Kate Alder, and we will take a minute or two just to let her see where she's at, but she is so crucial for Wasps. We've already seen that.
Is then, because of the ball, her arm has come up. So mitigating circumstance, that's why it's ended up a high tackle. And looking so bad. Okay?
Yeah.
Penalty only, because she needs to keep it down. I know the ball, but they need to come down. Anything?
Yeah, very clear instruction again from the referee. I'm enjoying his communication. Mitigating circumstance, the starting of the ball and then rode up, so not high, just a penalty.
It's so difficult as that attacking player, isn't it, Johnny? Because you know your intention is obviously you have an area of where to hit that intention. However, you do slip up. However, I also saw, you know, earlier Sarah Byrne did lead with slightly with a forearm. I think it's the second time. So fair enough, really good refereeing by the referee to spot that, because of player safety always comes first, and that is massive at the moment. That tackle area and that looking after the player is massive. So it's good refereeing.
We've got to, as a game, haven't we, to say we are going to go through a bumpy period. And how long that bumpy period is, we don't know. But tip tackles 10 years ago, oh wow, look at that amazing tackle. We now don't see them. It's a change of mindset. And again here, if we're going to protect young players, old players, men, women, it doesn't matter. That tackle height has to come down. And as I say, we all go through this bumpy period.
It's a real grey area, especially, you know, playing sevens at the moment. It's a real grey area, the break down the tackle area, because, you know, even at the World Cup we've seen some, you know, shaky calls. But it is so difficult because as a player who's going in for that defensive tackle, you know where you're trying to aim for, and almost you're thinking about the player's safety as opposed to your tackle, which can sometimes put you on the negative side of a tackle. So it is difficult because your mindset is changing. You know, for me, I used to go in for a tackle and I wouldn't even think twice. I'd just literally go for the hit. I think about a piece of paper that's sliced in half, Johnny. But now I feel like I have to watch where my arm goes or where my forearm goes, because you're having to think about the safety of the game. But in terms of the players coming through and the head injuries, it's important.
There's packs of A4 paper quivering around up and down the world. Thought of you tackling them. Kate Alder is well and fit to resume, and we're all delighted about that. They missed a touch though, Watson. Bristol showing a little bit of width. Stoger. Snowsill in at 9. Nielsen very happy with ball in hand. They're now England international. That line speed again from what's this time. Just too quick.
Yeah, no, it's great to see the ball through the hands. The Bristol just moving that ball. It's so important. You've got a whole pitch, use it. You know, you've got lots of greenery, just use it. Again, great to see Wasps getting off the line. You know, we're 30 minutes into the game, Johnny. We're nearly at half time, and they're still getting off their line. That, you know, when you see players get off the line, you're literally saying, "You're not coming near me. You're not coming over out past our goal line." And that is a body language. That is you're facing up to what's in front of you. You know, you're saying something without saying something. If you get me. You get me.
Well, I'm saying something without saying something by just looking at you.
Too good at this, aren't you?
One tries. That set piece working well, isn't it? Bristol sparsely line out time. Emily Jeffries, ex-uni student. Now that drive. It's another visit to the 22 for Bristol here. Down on the scoreboard. So they've got to come away with something, and they would dearly love to, wouldn't they? Nearing half-time, but again, it's Wasps, and Kate Holder rushes in. Look at that, the captain, straight into her forwards. Great work, great work. And it is, again, enough advantage played.
Yes, another advantage, Johnny. It is great to see the forwards doing what forwards do, right? But I believe forwards are better than just, you know, trucking it up. We are more than that, Johnny. And you have got literally 15 metres and no Wasps player was in defence in the 15-metre channel. You know, if Bristol just had a look up and worked around the corner, boom, they would have been in. And I do feel like these opportunities are so important. You know, in the third, fourth playoff, when you're sitting third, fourth, and you want to make that top four, that top six, these crucial moments you'll look back and go, there's a space. Why don't we execute it?
Craig does that so well. Plays in the back row, normally at 6, into that second row today. Sarah Mitchelson, Malloy and Miller Mills. Lauren Smith. Great step from Lauren Smith, all in the eyes and the head, wasn't it? Marston. The skill and then the bludgeon. Nielsen bounces off one tackle of Rowland. That ball is loose, just not looking after the ball again, and Emma Rowland sees all that space back there. Lauren Smith, cool and calm. Takes that ball. Another huge contest on the ground. Malloy. Knight to Maloney. Deals with that bobbling ball, and then Kate Holder, head down, just sucking in a few more defenders, but Truide. Just seemed to have a slightly sharper blade in attack, Wasps, in this opening 35 minutes. Not had many chances, Bristol with huge amounts of possession. Not been able to come away with any try so far. Just that early penalty for Eleanor Snowsill. Marston, big hit. Advantage to Bristol here. Now there's space. Abby Dow is at full-back. Tova Dirk just told her to stay where she was. She was flooding out on that left-hand side, the winger.
Defence at the moment is winning the game, isn't it?
Defence is king.
Defence is absolutely key. There's a lot to be said about you need your experienced players to step up, especially in these games where it is so close. And for me, Katie Mason is a key player. She's a key part in this. There is so much space in front of her. I think more comms need to be given to the forwards to release this ball and get it out wider, because there's so much space in front of her. But again, she's putting her arm up. But then, you know, it's like sometimes, you know, we're saying head down, you need your head up. You know, if we can get our players, the Wasp players, to scan a bit more, then I think they could be in for some more points.
Front row's creaking again. Saying that Nora Butrovide. She did teach me once how to say her name correctly. I do hope I'm getting it right. Butrovide.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, just say it with confidence and you'll get away with anything. She's in the second row. As Craig has gone to number 8. So Harriet Miller-Mills is off the field. So she's in the dugout on the far side. That is a big loss for Wasps.
Yeah, Harriet Miller-Mills has been is an outstanding player. For me, she's always someone who came to the system. I was kind of going to sevens, but great to play alongside her. A great person, great character, and leads by example. You know, she's not big in terms, you won't hear her shouting on the pitch, you know, but she will dedicate, she'll put her body on the line, and she runs really hard and really runs well. And she's got pace, she's dynamic, she moves. So she will be a loss if she doesn't come back on for Wasps.
And wonderful hands. Great hands for a lady who can smash it up. Wonderful, wonderful hands. She was getting some huge amount of traction, nearing that 50 cap mark before the last World Cup, but a double, I think double ACL.
Yeah, you know, the test of a player is always to come back from injury. You know, a great player can always be a great player, but as soon as you're injured, it completely changes dynamics of you, you know, for me, you know, as a player. And the fact that the testament that she's come back after the injury she's had for 2 years, it's credit to herself. She's worked so hard, and I'm really hoping this year and the next couple of years is hers to shine.
We're getting swamped up here in commentary. Some of the Bristol players. We haven't said anything nasty, don't worry. It's okay. With both sides just taking a moment. As we say, a furious pace to the start to this game. As we near half-time, Giselle Mather makes her way down. I'm pretty sure it is Harriet Miller-Mills in that dugout on the far side. Doesn't look like she's going to come back on to the field.
Yeah, that would be a loss. That would be a loss. She's a great ball carrier, so, and that I feel like both teams need a bit of a come on, let's go, let's do this. You know, I feel like we need a bit of dog out there if she brings that, and you know they need to step up now for her.
So into the championship minutes, 5 minutes before half-time, 5 minutes after half-time. They call the championship moments. Get a score here. Big, big advantage psychologically. Burgess. Ball shoveled on and eventually finds some space. Nielsen cuts back inside very wisely as well. She's taken to the ground by Alex Powell. A fine tackle from Hannah West. Look at that Wasp line. A lot of space in behind it, really is. As Cunningham takes it on again. It's been industrious the second row. Snowsill, Atwood. Now there's some space. Murray gives the ball. Lauren Smith, just on half time, hasn't scored. Tova Dirk has used every bit of pace she has, and she has got loads of it to push Lauren Smith out into touch. My word. I'd love to see a replay of it.
My word, am I allowed to say sugar lumps again? Because that was great defence.
Go full Sugar Plum Fairies, I would.
Jeez, great. It was great. It looks so easy to score a try, but that is not easy. You know, but great defence, fair play. Wasps to be able to work back and cover that tackle. Great defence.
It just shows huge heart, doesn't it, from Tova Dirk? But some space out there between Snowsill and Atwood and the wider players. Sarah Byrne was set up the whole move, didn't she, with her earlier on. There's another run from her. Bristol just squeezing that pedal, aren't they? That accelerator coming into half-time. No TMO, of course. What a hit, Maloney.
That's a great tackle. She'll feel that in the morning.
Yeah, that'll smart. One of their Roy again. Bristol here. Jeffries gives that ball on to Cunningham. Just outside the 22 now, Bristol. Bears are hunting here. Atwood comes cross-field for Murray. Gemma Rowland comes away with it. Contest in the air. Conversation between the officials. It's a penalty to Bristol. Just got that impetus. Here's the try again. Really close. I mean, all credit to the assistant referee. Of course,
He's obviously been Specsavers.
He has. Other opticians are available.
Boots.
Let's not list them.
I don't know any. I'm not that old.
But he was right. He was right on the spot, and the flag went straight up. There's absolutely no doubt in his mind, and he is the closest person to it. But now Bristol, with this chance, Gemma Rowland just gets a little bit of attention. That penalty, 2 players went for the ball.
It looked like 2 players went for the ball, but didn't really convincingly go for the ball. So they went for each other instead. Yeah, I don't think there's anything malicious. Don't think there's anything to worry about, to be honest.
Now, what do you do here where the clock has gone red, as it were? I mean, it's red all the time because the Tyrrells colours, but we're over the 40-minute mark. What do you do here?
Let's go for a scrum.
Nice. Again,
line out.
Stick to playing, don't coach.
What would I know? I play sevens, we don't do 3-man scrum.
But the line out has been working well, in all honesty, for Bristol. Been very accurate in this area, and the drive's not been bad either. They've gone to the front. Lillicrap, repelling drive from Wasps initially. Ball is now with Poppy Leach, and they smuggled it right out right-hand side. Craig is told to get out of there. It's a penalty coming. Malloy, hands in the air. That's a position she quite often has, being an open side right on the edge of the law. Coming in at the side, Wasps. Another line out here, surely.
Quick tap.
How long since you played 15?
Too long.
Every time you ask me, that's what's happening. That can't happen.
That was a quick tap. It's a line.
Yeah,
Does that count? Line out it is, Johnny.
Yes, Fish, it does count, yeah. Quick tap into touch.
Just got to add a bit of personality, do you know what I mean?
Loving it. Nielsen. Where do they go here? It's Naomi Kenny just giving the instructions. The loose head prop. It's often the way with many teams now. Swapping and changing. Poppy Leach, the mortgage ball been in this first half. Poppy Leach is trying to stay on her feet, and she has. Somehow Claire Malloy has got into there. She's trying to drag that down onto the ground now, and they're not going to get anything from this drive. That's brilliant defence and Wasps, as it has been for this opening 44 minutes. Going to have to go to plan B now. Bristol, Jeffries repelled again, just goes sideways. Now there's a big blind side opened up. Burt, little ship on. Mace. Nielsen leaves it for Keddy. Inching ever closer. Nielsen again. Now Snowsill is on this left-hand side. Has Burgess heard the call from Snowsill? It was 3-on-2 for a moment, 3-on-1 for a moment. As Daisy Mays comes away, going the long way round. Snowsill, high, knew the penalty was coming. Abby Dow takes it, 3rd penalty in a row in the danger zone, and I don't think the referee has any option but to give
Into the tackle ruck area.
the yellow card. Just some confusion as to who he's given the yellow card to. Well, it's Alex Powell. Trudges off behind the posts, the second row. And they've gone for the scrum, Bristol, with a 7-man pack against a 8-man pack.
Yeah, and I get why they've done that. However, I think I would have gone to half-time and taken the points in front, just because the scrums haven't been going in their favour too much. Do you think? I would have gone for the post. However, I would have gone for the blind side earlier as well and had a 3v0.
Ifs, buts and maybes.
We're all right, aren't we? We just see different pictures of perspective.
Yeah, of course. We're up here, you can probably see that space a little bit more. Front rows have gone up. Bristol with a determined shove. There's Laura Jane Lewis on the sideline. Prowling. Just got a message on to Abby Dow. Big scrum required here for Wasps.
think I'd stick my winger on as a back row, wouldn't you?
Then you're leaving short out wide.
But I would argue at the moment, are they going to actually, with a 5 metre scrum, are you going to get your ball out that wide? If you put the line speed that Wasps are putting on. Just food for thought, you know, Johnny.
I'd double bluff. I wouldn't worry the scrum. I'd whip it straight out. Marston controlling brilliantly. Bristol Platt going forward. There's the try line. It's a penalty try. Penalty try, no conversion needed. Bristol do convert that pressure from the last 5 minutes into points, and it's the full 7 points.
Yeah, I think the same thing, to be honest. They've put the pressure on for the last 10 minutes. Bristol have been coming and they've really put that pressure on. They've been breaking that line, they're winning that momentum, and once you get behind that defensive line, then it's about executing. When you're 5 metres away of a scrum, it was going in their favour, and it's so hard for us to defend that because you're literally, all eyes are on you from a referee's point of view. So yeah, fair play, but it has been literally such a tight game. The next half, Johnny, is going to be a close one.
Yeah, it's going to be a scintillating second 40 minutes. It's been a great first 40 minutes. Defence has been the winner so far until that final couple of minutes from Wasps. They've been impressive. Bristol taken advantage right at the death of the first half and got their first try. It was a penalty try, and they lead at half-time 10 points to 5. It started well, didn't it, for Bristol? So we have a look at the first half highlights. That early penalty from Ona Snowsill. And then it's Wasps who responded straight away with that try from Hannah West, driving her way over to driving more tries. Poppy Leake trying to do her best to stop it, but couldn't do anything in the end. And then it was a real arm wrestle, wasn't it? The set piece from Bristol working well outside of a couple of scrums. Marston's been very evident in loose play with ball in hand. Bristol did have a chance here with the intercept. Lauren Smith down their touchline, then Tova Dirk. Wow, what pace, what commitment, what heart. See what it meant to her and to Wasps as well. But Bristol weren't going to be denied a couple of penalties, a yellow card as well for Alex Powell. I mean, they were down to a 7-man pack, and Bristol took full advantage. It was superb from Bristol to get that penalty try right at the death of half-time, and therefore they have a 10-5 lead. And of course, all these players would love to be involved in the autumn internationals. Strong, relentless, glorious, the Red Roses. Tickets start from just £10. England against France down at Sandy Park on the 16th of November. 1:10 kickoff for that one, and England against Italy at Goldington Road at Bedford, November the 23rd. Kickoff at 3 o'clock. Should be superb games, those for England, really testing themselves against France as they did in the Super Series. But of course, this is the start of round 4. Let's now just take a quick look back at round 3 and some of the try highlights from it. Shaftesbury Park here, the home of Dings Crusaders, where Bristol Bears Men and Women train. often train on the back pitch, the Bristol Women, but today first team games on this 3G pitch. Today, of course, the first of the live stream games from England Rugby, and a great announcement, wasn't it, last week of these games coming up. There's some absolute mouth-watering games. Wasps, we follow next week as well, at home to Loughborough Lightning next Saturday. And then the 29th of October up at Loughborough, up against Harlequins, all top teams these. Then that Red Roses game against Italy we've mentioned on the 23rd of November. Of course, you can find tickets on englandrugby.com. And then 30th November, the week after, Wasps at home against Saracens Women, the reigning champions. And then you got the AASE League and Champions Trophy finals, all at Allianz Park on the 4th of December for you. And then mid-December, back to the Tyrrells Premier 15s as Harlequins against Saracens. Do not miss that one. And those will all be on the England Rugby Facebook page, the England Rugby YouTube channel, and of course on the Tyrrells Premier 15s website as well. Been an intriguing first 40 minutes, Bristol against Wasps. We knew it was going to be a tight one. Both teams with very lofty ambitions, some great backing behind them, both extremely well coached. Of course, it's very early days in the season, round 4 of a 18-round league. And of course, they came into this game, Wasps in third on 11 points, Bristol Bears on 11 points as well, both with the 2 wins behind them. But interestingly, since the Tyrrells Premier 15 started a couple of years ago now, Wasps haven't lost to Bristol, whether it be home or away. They won the last 4 Wasps, 25-17 and 17-32 last season. Season before that was 26-12 and 5-17. So tight contests always between these. But the Tyrrells Premier 15's launched a few weeks ago now, and Nikki Ponsford, the head of the Women's Rugby of England, was there, and Nathan Middleton spoke to her, all at the Premier 15's launch.
Good afternoon from the Tyrrells farmhouse in Herefordshire, where we're here ahead of the season's launch, the 1920 season. Alongside me, the RFU's head of women's performance, Nikki Ponsford. Nikki, the season right on the brink. How much of these launches and events you look forward to?
Oh, I mean, it's great fun being here, because actually it signifies the start of the season, and we're really looking forward to the start of this season 3 of Tyrrells Premier 15s. I think all the clubs are really aware of what they need to be doing to get their performance on the pitch right. I think there's been a lot of player movement again, a lot of recruitment of players into the league, and I think teams are going to be really competitive going into this season. I think Tyrrells has done a great job for us over the last 2 seasons. One, it's really given the players the opportunity to play consistent competitive rugby throughout the season, so it's really helped develop those Red Roses players that we've got and we saw sort of through the summer. But the other thing it's done is actually give the opportunity for players that we haven't seen through the pathway to actually make a sort of play for an England place, and we've seen a number of those players coming up and coming through the system, so it's done a great job for us in terms of England, and I think we'll continue to do so this season. What we really want to see is growing crowds as well. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to see these Red Roses players play, to get to know them as individuals, and you get a fantastic opportunity to see young up and coming young players as well.
So that fantastic opportunity kicks off in a couple of weeks. The new Tyrrells Premier 15 season starts on the weekend of the 21st and 22nd of September.
It's a good launch of the home of Tyrrells, down the potato farm. Not really your thing, Heather Fisher, but your thing is rugby, not potatoes, I mean.
I hate potatoes.
Potato fry, do you?
No, I don't like potatoes.
Understood. Good to know. This game, fascinating stuff, isn't it? We haven't seen the likes of Abby Dow, Lawrence Hickley with a little run, but Tova Dirk more defensively than offensively. Is this game going to break up those little holes that were there in the first 40? Is it beginning to become slightly bigger in the second 40?
I'm really hoping so. I think we saw a glimpse of what Bristol can do. in the 10 minutes before half time, what's that, on 30th minute, we started to see Bristol really pull away, just moving that extra pass and really running direct and playing behind the Wasps defensive line, winning that momentum. I think it's going to be a side. This half now is going to be a side of which team is going to be braver and take that risk. You know, when two sides are that close, you've got to be brave in defence and attack. Now, I think both teams have been great in defence, and it's been a great all-defensive effort, brilliant. But who's going to attack? Who's going to get their head up, look for that space, and give that extra pass that they're not quite sure about? Who's going to retain that ball and really, you know, run direct and play behind that game line? I think that's what we need to see, to be honest.
We can hear from one of the Bristol management now. Tom Lindsay is down there with Lucy Lomax to give us some half-time thoughts.
Now with Bristol Bears Women's forwards coach Tom Lindsay. Tom, you've won a couple of penalties at scrum time in that first half. How do you feel your pack are performing?
Oh, I think they're doing really well. I think we could be more clinical. I want us to be as perfect as we can be. Obviously, I know there's going to be mistakes, but we're getting across the gap really well, putting them under pressure. I feel that Wasps are having to cheat a little bit. They're manipulating situations, but the referee's being smart, and we're getting the rub of the green at the moment.
What was said in that half-time team talk?
Oh, we just talked about sticking to our processes at the moment. We have got the rub of the green, as I said. We've got possession, we've got territory. It's about looking after the ball, building phases, putting them under pressure, and we'll get some points.
And you're newly appointed forwards coach in the role. How are you finding the role?
Oh, I'm really enjoying it. The girls are giving me so much energy, so much to work with. They're being receptive, coachable, and they're transferring stuff we talk about in training onto the pitch. And for a coach, that's what you want to see.
Fantastic. Good luck for the second half.
Cheers, thank you.
Coaches in the women's game talk about how receptive the female players are. It's not doing what they're told to do, but questioning why they're doing it and having a fuller understanding, and therefore the process is that much easier because you actually understand what you're doing. Quick look back at the table coming into this round and see how tightly they are together. Wasps and Bristol both on the 11 points, already 4 points behind Harlequins and Saracens. That's ominous, isn't it, with only 3 rounds gone. And then Gloucester 1 point behind, and Loughborough down in 7 points. Interesting to know what those half-time messages were. I wonder whether Bristol would just try to change their tactics ever so slightly in this second 40 minutes. The one-out runners worked for a time, and they would say, well, they're up on the scoreboard, of course, so of course it did work.
Yeah, it did work, Johnny. I think the way they played the last 10 minutes, if I was Kim Oliver, I'd be saying the last 10 minutes is the intensity we need to bring for the next 40 minutes. You need to literally play like that the whole 40 minutes, and we have to identify that space in that blind side. It is there every time. You know, get your heads up, have a look, you know, control the breakdown at the tempo, at the breakdown, and you get that quick ball away. When quick ball is quick, you want to use it. When it's slow, use it in our favour and use our direct runners.
Second half then underway here at Shaftesbury Park, the home of the Dings Crusaders, home of Bristol Bears Women. Bobby Leach, welcome to the second half for her. Big hit from Nora Butruai, and then Eleanor Snowseals in trouble as well. Penalty to Wasps, early penalty for Wasps as well. Few changes out there as well. We'll just get you up to date with those. Mika Evans is on the field wearing 17. We can see down there. That's a change in the front row. Isabel Rico, it looks like her afternoon is done. And Claudia MacDonald is on as well at scrum half.
It's a shame to see Harriet Miller-Mills off the field, but hopefully she'll have a quick recovery, hopefully.
Fingers crossed she has spent enough time out of the game. Hannah Edwards, just what they would have wanted. Was really concede that penalty try right at the end of the first half, and within 1.5 minutes of the second half, championship minutes as we spoke about in that first half, have replied straight away to make it 10-8. Abby Dow to Jeffries. He's trying to use the hands to see their way out of trouble. Claudia McDonald, one of her first acts is to put the box kick up. Can't take the ball with her. Joanne Lillycrap missed last week. World Cup member of Wales squad in 2017. Here she is, Joanne Lillycrap, early 30s now, consistent performer.
There's nothing wrong with early 30s, Johnny.
It's the new teens.
Totally.
Honestly, 40s is when you start living. They tell me.
Yeah, yet to experience that, Johnny.
And when you're like me,
way off that.
When you're like me in your 60s, it's just fun.
Thing is, you're 60 and got more hair than me. How does that work?
It's not that hard, to be fair. Enough of the follicle chat. Here we are.
Follicle.
Claudia McDonald feeding this Wasp scrum. Good Bristol scrum again. McDonald comes away using that pace, and you can see it just puts Wasp straight on the front foot. Rowland, Gemma Rowland, had Abby Dow on our left-hand side. Katie Mason was there as well, wasn't she? McDonald just put a little bit of zip around that breakdown area. McMahon, he's on as well, wearing 19. Edwards, Malloy, Butteride, and then Evans with a clear out. Better continuity here from Wasps.
Yeah, we can just see Wasps trying to zip that ball outside that 13 channel, and actually Bristol aren't actually committing numbers to the breakdown, so they're keeping their numbers on feet, trying to get the ball back.
Down, chipping through, called by Smith, and then she seems to have so much time on the ball, doesn't she? She's 18 years of age. Long, illustrious career ahead of her. You suspect the foot technician, cousin of Liam Williams. If it runs in the family.
Yeah, no, joking aside, she's got great feet. It was great to see her the ball in her hands. But yeah, she's totally fantastic career ahead of her. And it's great to see so many young, like, if you see it, you can believe it. And there's so many young players now coming for the system, coming for the Tyrrells 15th Premiership, you know, playing alongside some great experience as well. They're going to get better and better. And, you know, each year it's growing.
Outward shape to kick down that left-hand side, but she's coming away instead. McMahon with a tackle. Wasp doing so well to fill that space over that ball. Burgess just about gets that ball away. Great hands from Leach. It's a really low pass. And the penalty is given away by Wasps.
Yeah, it's nice to see both sides coming out here. Slightly different game plan. You can see Bristol really sitting off, not committing to that breakdown, getting numbers on the feet, and Wasp moving that ball outside that 13 channel is what was needed in the first half. To be honest, they're filling that blind side. They're working both sides. If they can now play around the tempo, so they don't give it away too soon before the breakdown's over, and they can really play with that blind side.
Looks like it's Alex Powell who's made way for Adele McMahon. They call her Tricky.
Why?
because she does a rap to the song Tricky very well, apparently.
Example?
You'll have to ask her afterwards.
Thought you were going to give us one.
I don't even know what a rap is, let alone do one. Snowsill. Lily Crap and then Byrne, strong fend. Sarah Byrne doing what Sarah Byrne does so well. Craig has come round, that ball was available. Referee was happy that Burgess longingly looked at the referee. He said, play on. They are winning the battle of the breakdown. That there is absolutely no doubt.
Yeah, they are definitely winning the battle of the breakdown at the moment, and that defensive pressure is really putting, Bristol under pressure. It's a great run by Sarah Byrne, and what's great to see is that she's running in the outside channels. It's a mismatch straight away. You've got your prop who's running like a back row against your back three. She's got great power, so it's great to see her running with that ball. But we have to get support to her. If we want to expect our players to run, we've got to support them.
Here's a stat for you. England under 20s back row, Sarah Byrne was. Her first time at prop was June 2016. She's only been playing prop 3 years. Now she's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. She's got great strength. She can almost apply pressure in any position you put her in. She's natural on the ball. She's natural on the pitch. She belongs on the rugby pitch. She's a great asset to any team she's going to play for in any position. So she's versatile. But what makes her a killer is the fact that she runs so well.
Nielsen. Driven back by McDonald. Good tackle on the scrum half. Byrne. This time they saw her coming and it's a low tackle right down by the ankles. Atwood. It's passed back into the 22. Good boot from Atwood. They've got kickers in their side. They've got Atwood, they've got Snowsill. Just wonder whether it's something they should use a little bit more. Dow just kicks it straight into the arms of Murray.
Yeah, when you talk about space, Johnny, it's not just the handling game, it's a kicking game as well. The space behind the defensive line, Wasps are dropping back, so you've got your Pelengin working, you've got your winger working back, more so than the first half. So there's probably less space behind Wasps. However, there's loads of space behind Bristol, so it's how you use that space. And then you've got someone like, we talk about Sarah Byrne carrying that ball, but actually, could use it as a decoy line. She holds so many players. She will hold 2 or 3 players. Get her running on you, on your inside, and then get running hard on the outside by your other players. You've got to create that space.
More replacements now. Hannah Edwards has gone off. Which means Lizzie Goulden will come on. 21. The New Zealander. She has got a mammoth boot on her.
Spoke to Kiwis last week and I said, what do you guys eat for your breakfast? Because you guys are all strong, big and powerful. So it'd be interesting to see what we get from her today.
18 Weetabix. So they're running the changes. Wasps, some fresh legs on early. Well, 10 minutes into this second half. Only points scored in the second 40. There's been that penalty from Hannah Edwards. She's now gone off for the field. Scrum for Bristol to try and put some pressure on Wasps. It's been an area where they've had a little bit of advantage, Bristol. Too much advantage. They've driven before the ball is in. It's right in front of the referee. You've just got to be squeaky clean. The referee hasn't missed a great deal so far, and he's not going to miss that one. They take a quick tap. Claudia McDonald puts it high into the Bristol sky. Gemma Rowland rises really high. Claudia McDonald's really added some zip, hasn't she? McMahon fighting to get those arms free to have the possibility of the offload. Goulden now. McDonald now into the juggernauts. One of them is Evans. Back down that short side. Slowly, patiently building up here. Evans again, assisted by her captain, Kate Alder. McDonald, fending, looking for a runner. Finds Craig, and she will chew up the metres. Hannah West, try score in the first half. 4 metres, 3 metres shy now, Wasps. Knocked on by Wasps though. And the crowd here applauding that, the Bristol players applauding that because they were taking water there.
Yeah, it's good pressure by Bristol. Wasps have really improved their tempo in terms of the breakdown. They're moving that ball really well, and they're giving themselves options on the blind side as well as the open. So, if they're filling the field, which is going to keep Bristol, on their tiptoes. At the moment, the ref has full control of this game, Johnny. So you're not getting away with anything. So it's literally, like we said in the first half, who can be squeaky clean, who can retain that possession. You retain possession, we keep the ball, you stop the opposition from playing. It's pretty simple. So it's now about, it's 10-8 in Bristol's favour. So, keep applying those pressures, keep the tempo high, and break down squeaky clean.
England management here, looking on. Richard Blaze, the Red Roses forward coach, in situ with a nice American cap. How are you, Rosie? You all right? In San Diego, is it? Yep, okay.
Can't really miss me, so big.
Yeah, it all went dark, didn't it, in the stand here?
Shadow.
As Richard Blaze going through. Just scrum is casting a shadow near the Bristol posts. Burgess, penalty to Bristol. It has been a real tussle at scrum time.
Yeah, I'm just putting myself in position now, Johnny, if I was on the pitch now in a Wasps shirt, you're going to get excited because you're so close, but we keep getting so close and then going. It's great to see Bristol take the quick tap and just go. That was a real missed opportunity, but great to see them just play. I said it earlier, just quick tap and play. Catch them off guard and just run forward, be direct and have a go, have a shot.
But if you're accurate.
Totally agree. Look, as players, we never step out to make mistakes. That's one thing. As players, you don't need someone to go, oh, mate, what are you doing? At the end of the day, you back each other with decisions, and you take it as a team. But they need to now get to work and earn those points.
Yeah, it's one of those coach killer errors, isn't it? A compounded second error upon error, and it's something that coaches just can't deal with. You give the forward pass, it was your penalty, now it's a Wasp penalty right in front of the sticks, and they've only got one option, haven't they? Take the lead, take 3 points, convert this pressure into points, and go back down your half and build again.
Totally agree, and you've still got your finishers to come on, Johnny. At the end of the day, those finishers on the bench, you're going to have to step up. So each coach will have their plan in terms of how they use their finishers, how they coordinate the pitch, and how they finish the game off. Because starting a game is just as important as finishing, and it's important that the players understand they're not bench players. They're just as good as the starting players, but it's how you utilise each and every one's strengths coming on, because this will be the decider of this game. I really truly believe.
Well, Lizzie Goulding got a couple of conversions against Worcester, a couple of conversions against Gloucester. 8 points to a name so far this season, running at about 67% at posts. This should only improve those statistics. To take the lead then. Goulding makes no mistake at all. And this really, really tight game. It is still really, really tight. Wasps take the lead by a single point. Bristol 10, Wasps 11.
I know we always step out to win games, and Bristol and Wasps will be doing that today, you know, in these matches. However, you know, both teams are performing well, and like we said, we're at the start of the season, we've got a season ahead of us, and, you know, both teams are looking sharp for the fourth game in, Johnny.
Abby Dale just about taken by Atwood. Haven't seen either of those two really too much space or ball in hand. Lillicrap had the bally shoes on for a moment, trying to dance her way away from touch. Couldn't manage it in the end. Physics was against her.
Yeah, she'll be annoyed at herself that, you know, it's the basics. She'll be annoyed, but it's a great kick.
It's a really good kick, but again, it's another one of those, isn't it? They take the quick tap penalty, which is the right thing to do because there was space on that left-hand side. They forward pass, then give the penalty away. This, you leave that ball alone, it's your line out.
Totally agree with you, you know. Yeah, it's almost like done out the tactical part of the game. It's kind of what they just need to step up a little bit. And how do you get that? By looking up, having a look, giving you time with the ball, maintaining that possession by having your key players that break down so you know you can't get turned over. So it gives yourself that space to scan.
Scouse. Smith. Stoger. One player who's beginning to come into this game is Sarah Byrne. More and more runs from her. There's one positive from Bristol. Atwood puts it downtown towards Abby Dow, but it's straight down the throat of Abby Dow. She returns it. Who's there? Sarah Byrne, but she angled her body, so she did drop it, which she did. It was going to go backwards. Now both sides putting boot to ball. McDonald. Where's this one going? It's straight out for Claudia McDonald. Meshes have gone out there possibly. Just use the boot a little bit more. Get yourself a little bit of field position because it is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, field position is really important, but you can see players' faces just look a little bit frustrated out there. Body language a little bit frustrated. You know, we now need the players to step up and go, come on, we've got this. We know what we're trying to do. Everyone do their job, and we should collectively get there as a team because there are a little bit frustrated bodies out there.
The line out is quick. Scouse, Atwood, taken by Older. Stoger this time flicks it back inside. Lauren Smith takes it. Again, it's recycled quickly, but it's not clean from Bristol. They seem to be flustered at the moment.
Yeah, it's like the field position, we take the right field position, we're taking the right option, but we're just not quite executing yet, are we? I say we. I'm not a Bristol player, but Bristol.
Bristol Bears, indeed, and Leach has knocked that ball on, and again it's advantage to Wasps, who just seem to be growing and growing in this game. As I say that, they give the penalty away. Slightly high tackle.
I don't know if it's concentration, you know. It's almost like the players get slightly excited. You start to move forward. We start to get the players playing in the right positions. It's great to see Sarah Byrne passing the ball. You know, all eyes will be on her, you know, as a running attacker, and then passing that ball out. Then we've got to be able to finish and execute, you know, what players start. And maybe that's a concentration, maybe that's, you know, nerves. But I think nerves will be gone in the 60th minute. But maintain that possession will be absolutely key for both sides here today.
Naomi Keddy is all right to come back on. She's charging off actually. Scouse is going as well, and Jeffries. On come Thomas, wearing 17 now, Welsh international, over 50 caps to her name. Experienced player.
Yeah, she's a nice player. She's full of experience. You know, she'll know how to finish a game off, and she'll be really important for this Bristol side today.
And Charlotte Wright Haley on as well. Through the ranks of the club. Beginning to break into this first team now. She's got a good opportunity here to free kick to Bristol. Lillicrap to Leach, those two very evident in this game. They will be all season. Two key players for Bristol. First run for Wright Haley. Burgess and Snowsill. Again, Wasps filling that space. Very well indeed. Sarah Byrne gets the pass. Sarah Byrne. Taken down by Claudia McDonald, her England teammate. Bristol pouring forward here. Leach. Has it gone backwards? Yes, says the referee. Murray. Smith. Look at Kate Holder. Hitting one player and then on to the next. Need some composure here, Bristol. Just outside the 22. Burgess is caught by Hannah West. Not releasing in the tackle.
Yeah, it's a lifeline for Bristol there. You know, great momentum, but again, key to keep that calm head. There's a difference between being calm and being urgent.
Not releasing in the tackle is the call from the referee. Snowsill wants to make sure she hasn't. Again, it's unforced error.
Yeah, totally unforced error. However, this is what you need, those players to step up, and that needs to make touch. That has to make touch.
It's not the first time today. Toba Dirk says, well, let's just get things going. Now it's gone backwards and was slightly under pressure. Toba Dirk again trying to use her pace. Now it's with Gemma Rowland. Got Katie Mason outside and they're running out of their 22 now, Wasps. Snowsill. What will she do here? She's half past Katie Mason. Mason makes the tackle in the end. Leach head down. I think you notice we're fairly close to the pitch here is the level of communication from the Wasp players. Toba Dirk at back three talking the whole time, and they've turned that ball over because Thomas's pass was a little bit loose, a little bit loopy. McDonald, Dirk again.
Yeah, communication is so key. You know, these players will work full time, they'll be training full time. They don't have, you know, it's not like the men's setup where they'll be in club every day and they get to know each other very well. They know each other obviously as much as they can through pre-season, but they don't work together, you know, day in day out. So communication is absolutely key. You know how to better your teammate next to you, but then how to better your team, but then how to get the best out of yourself all in one is a difficult skill. So yeah, what's the moment of playing well? Bristol have had a couple of opportunities. The coaches are going to be really frustrated because both teams have had great opportunities and it's not yet been executed, as we know, and turned into points.
Well, Richard Blais not the only part of the England management here. Scott Beeman as well, down to our right-hand side, keeping a close eye on these potential England players. The likes of Byrne, of course, established herself well and truly into the England setup. Clara Nielsen, there or thereabouts in the summer. Claudia McDonald as well. Katie Mason's represented England, of course. Abby Dowell as well. Harriet Miller-Mills may well have come to see her, but her game was ended early in that first half, and a shame not to see her back on the field. She's down and a stand below us as Wasps set up the driving maul. Down to ground now. Lillicrap is spat out. Goulden, Older. Option round the back possibly there for Wasps. Claire Malloy. Tackled by Thomas. Rather slow to roll away there, the Bristol prop. Powell. McDonald. Now Evans. The replacement front row has been ripped away though by Bristol. It's not for the first time in this second half that Bristol have turned the ball over just when Wasps are on the attack. It's great work from the Welsh international. I'm pretty sure it was Sharon Lillicrap who who ripped that ball away from Evans.
Yeah, both teams are working so hard, Johnny. You know, they're working really hard in defence. They're working back to try and get back on side in attack when the ball's, you know, gone out of play and transferred over. Both teams are literally working so hard. But the level compared to last season has really gone up, and it's great to see.
If you're a Wasps forward, you would have been happy with that ball being turned over. You look up, and Ella Snowsail has not got much ground, and you've got a line out deep in the 22 now.
Yeah, Bristol are looking a little bit tired, and you know, at the moment it's 1 point in it. You know, you're in the 22 for the Wasp players. That they kind of be thinking we shouldn't be coming away from here without points.
They take the line out, no challenge from Bristol. Instead, they're trying to pull it down. Sarah Byrne was on the floor. Wasps have managed to keep it up though. Stop once, says the referee. McDonald's weight, she's got a big blind side and she's got bags of pace as well. Bristol have held it in there. They come up with the ball, and again, in this second half, I think third time, they've been under pressure and turn that attacking Wasp ball over.
As that clock ticks as well and gets closer to the 80-minute, about to say 90 minutes, not football, is it? As it gets close to the 80-minute marker, Johnny, it's going to be really hard for the players to be able to take that risk and be brave in attack. So I kind of feel like now you've got to change the picture. We haven't changed the picture that much. I kind of feel like we need to step up the intensity. I say we, sorry, apologies. Wasps need to step up the tempo and change the picture, because it's like you said, it's the third time now Wasps have been in the 22 and got turned over.
Our viewers, and I can forgive you saying we're all one big rugby
really
family,
sorry.
aren't we?
Sometimes I forget I'm on this side of it, not the playing side of it.
We're all pulling in the right direction, the upward direction, supporting women's rugby however we can. Positive, positive, positive. Got to be the way to keep this incredible upward trajectory that women's rugby is on. Now they get the penalty, Bristol, at the scrum. They just edged it there, yes. There's been penalties both sides, but they just about edged it, haven't they? Bristol in that scrum, and now Snowsill will look to get some more ground here.
Yeah, and you talk about the penalties and being squeaky clean. That's well kept in by Dow, very well kept in.
And she feeds Dirk, and then McDonald with Goulden. Another missed touch. I mean, if Bristol are going to lose this game and carry on a record of not beating Wasps in the Tyrrells Premier 15s, I suspect they might rue those unforced errors, the missing of the touch, the forward passes at pressure times.
Yeah, I was about to say, before that mistouch happened, you know, with the game so close, those margin for errors become so small but yet so big. But at the same time, you don't want to tell your players to not get in the breakdown, because we need that ball, they need the ball back. So it's how you keep your ball players in the breakdown to cause a fuss and to turn it over and to cause that chaotic environment. However, making those clever decisions of when to go in and when to stay out of the breakdown.
For Eleanor Snowsill here, and we see it right across rugby, don't we? Put it into the stands. Put it 2-3 rows into the stand. She'll line out anyway, rather than going for that miracle extra 5 metres when Abby Dow was able to keep that ball in touch, and it's ended in this penalty being given away by Bristol, and Lizzie Gordon has a huge boot on her. How big, we're about to find out.
Yeah, no, you know, I think in terms of what you just said about Bristol and Eleanor, you know, should we wanted to make that touch, but when you look up as a player and it hasn't been made touch, your heads do go down, so it's about keeping your players up.
It's off the sticks. Burgess reacts quickest, the Bristol scrum half, and then tries to give the pass away. It wasn't really there to be given away. Can't extend their lead, Wasps. She didn't hit it well, but it almost got there. Hit the crossbar.
When this game comes to get reviewed by both coaches, it's going to be a very interesting one, because from both points of view, they've both had opportunities, they've both missed opportunities, they've both created opportunities, and sometimes you look at, did we create the opportunity and did we execute? Because they're both very different things, and both teams have executed, haven't executed, but both have created.
Atwood again just clearing the lines, but don't kick to this Wasp back three. Conversation I had with Kim Oliver, the Bristol head coach this week. Toba Dirk, and that's one of the reasons why she's so quick and elusive. Into that 22 now. They go down the short side again. West, Hannah West. To Lillicrap. Donald arrived now. As Wasp forwards taking that ball. Standing still. McMahon goes low. Tired bodies out there now into this final 8 minutes of this game. Whose game is it? Wasps at the moment, and they're on the attack again. McDonald, Maloney, strong, abrasive run, not for the first time this afternoon. McMahon, two Ireland internationals, making some holes, making some dents in the Bristol defence. Bertruvai just waits just for a latcher or two to come onto and try and drive that ball, but defence around the fringes is very good from Bristol at the moment. Good discipline. Hannah West. McDonald. McMahon repelled this time. They're going backwards here, Wasps. Still have that possession though. Rowland says, well, come on forwards, get in behind me. Gemma Rowland, the outside centre. Bristol able to turn this ball over again. They have. That's with Sarah Byrne. How they've turned that ball over again. Be back to Atwood. Long boot from Atwood again, not found touch. Found Abby Dow and Toba Dirk, and Katie Mason is racing to get onto her left-hand side. Good press from Bristol, and who's there? Sarah Byrne again. McDonald. Dow with a strong fend. Ridiculous scoring rate Abby Dow has for England. Just moved away from the set-up at the moment. Huge hit from Wright Haley's knocked that ball on. Burgess says let's put it down the tram lines. Put it into touch, and somehow Bristol have come away without conceding anything.
It may touch. It's a good kick.
Yes, there's no way of us seeing. Supporters have got a golden retriever in the way. It's a great kick, isn't it? That's really intelligent stuff from Lucy Burgess. Just putting it down those tram lines, relieving that pressure and that psychological gain, Fish, from being under the pump, from being in your 22 for 4 or 5 minutes to come away without conceding points. That's huge at Bristol, especially at this time of the game.
Totally agree with Johnny. You know, the fact that now that Bristol have got out the 22, that pressure is on, they've done the hard work, that ball's been turned over, but now they really need to up their game now, Bristol do. You know, they've literally got half a pitch, that's 50 metres, Johnny. You know, they need to execute, keep the ball, keep possession, be dynamic and keep the pressure on and retain their own ball.
Ellie Mulhern, another local lady, comes on the field at 18 for Bristol. Gemma Rowland's being impressive again. Classy. Goulder testing one. Really testing one. Stogart. Burgess was back there with her though. And Bristol have possession again. Scored though. Stogart. Bertruvide, I think it was. Snaffled her up. No love lost here, is there? There's no love lost
not at all. Not at all.
Should have mentioned that earlier on, but it is huge pressure out there. Leach taking that ball at a standstill and sort of 5-10 metres behind that gain line. That middle part of the ruck, we call the gain line. Thomas. Good ball presentation for her. Burgess arrives now. Smith, audacious. Matt Dawson for the Lions against South Africa type. Dummy, turnover. by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. She has so much pace, Claudia McDonald, but it was all about Claire Malloy, the Ireland international, turning that ball over. And Claudia McDonald, there was just a chink of light, wasn't there, down that short side, and she needs no second invitation.
Yeah, that breakdown's being talked about all day long. It's literally gone back and forth between Bristol and Wasps. And the fact you've still got your forwards going for it, you've got Claire Malloy, a great turnover. You need your players to be able to step up with that experience. And she stepped up and found the space and literally finished with conviction. It's a great try. And that could be a defining moment of this game, Johnny.
I think without a doubt. But it does make this conversion incredibly important, doesn't it? Take your 2 scores away.
Totally, you know, there's 6 minutes left of a game, less than that. It's a really important kick, really important. 2 minutes, I can't count. 2 minutes left of this game.
About with this football thing, 19. You watching last night, England lose?
Just used to sevens.
That's even shorter, that's nowhere near 90 minutes.
But I only play 7 minutes, so everything's always 7 minutes away. 7 or 9. If a coach says fish on 10 minutes, I've got issues.
We've done very well for the full 78 today.
Thank you, Johnny.
Lizzie Gordon missed the penalty earlier on. This to take Wasps 2 scores clear. Has it in her locker. Oh, it's a fine strike. And there it is. The conversion from the try. Brilliant from Claudia McDonald. Saw the space forwards in front of her. Took the opportunity, and you have to say, since she came on at half-time, been a lot more zip around those breakdown for Wasps.
Yeah, totally agree, and that's what we talk about. Your finishers. Your finisher are on the bench for a reason, to finish the game off, to zip it, or to be able to up that tempo, to increase the speed of the breakdown, and that's exactly what she's done. She's taken an opportunity, she's gone full out.
2 scores away now, barring some kind of rugby miracle. The game is Wasps. They meant business when they came here this morning. You saw that they were out training really early, changed their plans after the Bristol result against Loughborough. They saw just how well they performed there. Came down last night to be together as a squad.
Yeah, your prep for any game is so important, and the fact they came down last night just gives them that extra time to be able to relax and get their game mode into it. You know, it is difficult. You know, you travel up to a away game. There's a lot to think about. But Bristol at home, they're going to find this difficult. You know, they've lost to Wasps a few times now. It's hard to break them down. They're a good team.
Atwood trying to find a bonus point, losing bonus point. Phoebe Murray has brought down Sarah Byrne, twisting and spinning. Lewis there with the tackle. Leach, that ball is out. Cunningham, this new second row partnership. Again, it's there for Bristol. Wright Haley with ball in hand. It's over that line.
Ref's bringing it back.
They are bringing it back. They say unsighted to the try line. Right, Haley, Triveno there. Craker's done really well, hasn't she? And Hannah West in there. That's where she scored her try in that first half. 5 metre scrum. This all about picking up points now, isn't it? Little break in play. Good opportunity to have your player of the match, Heather Fisher.
I feel like today's such a difficult one. For me, a few players have stood out. You know, both teams have worked so hard. I'm struggling to break down to one player, but for me, win or lose.
Who's in between?
A few. Malloy, Older, Dowie. I'm going to go...
Do you want to phone a friend? Go 50-50?
I'm going Kate Older.
Kate Older.
Kate Alder is my man of the match.
Kate Alder, the player of the match and the winner of the biggest bag of crisps
Ever.
often seen in the BFG.
Yeah, for me, she's been so consistent she stepped out on the pitch at the very start, and she's been consistent. She's been a great ball handler, great direct lines. Her tackles, her defensive pressure's been brilliant from start to finish. Yeah, just a really good, consistent player, and being instrumental to Wasps' win today. That I think it might be.
Bristol scrum then to try and salvage something from this game. They've given so much to it. Got that penalty try in the first half, of course. They've got another penalty here, and I suspect they will take that scrum again. Time is up. We will reset. 8 points down, Bristol. They will come away with a win, Wasps. Whatever happens here, and a fifth win in a row against Bristol. They have never lost to Bristol in the Tyrrells Premier 15s.
However, the margins are getting smaller and smaller, and Bristol have really stepped up. And I really believe Bristol have a great future ahead of them in terms of where they are. They're a very young club. They're forming together. You've got the Welshes, have come across the border and they're playing across here. Young squad, up and coming, probably England players in the squad here, and they've got great potential. Their potential for growth is great.
Another penalty. You suspect a third penalty will be a penalty try. Sharon Lillicrap is having a word with the referee. Just want to word with Kate Alder here. We'll try and listen in. She's going to have a moment. The player of the match, Heather Fisher's player of the match.
Scrum, please. Yeah, of course. Time's still off.
Time's still off, says the referee. It doesn't matter about the time. It's a penalty. You can't stop the game.
Goal.
And we're over the clock anyway. Kate Alder is just saying to her front row, to her front five, we cannot give another penalty away here. I think we all know if it's another penalty, it will be another penalty try, and Bristol will take something from this game, and they deserve to.
Yeah, I love it when the backs talk to the forwards. They make it look so easy.
One final scrum, one final play then. The Bristol Bears and Wasps. It's set. Thomas in there, Nielsen in there. Trying to drive it forward. Lillicrap comes away, it's wide and out. Little juggle. What Wasps would have wanted to get wide. They've been able to deal with what Bristol have thrown at them wide today. Lillicrap, she deserves a try. If anyone from the Bristol side, is she over? That loose pass has gone forward from Poppy Leach, and there it is. Referee looks like he's signalling for a scrum to Wasp, but perhaps he's not aware of the time is over. Got time for one more play. Is there one more huge scrum for Bristol in there?
Maybe he just wants to carry this exciting game on.
I'm happy. Perhaps he's going to your 90 minutes.
Maybe he is.
I think the difference being is that his watch stops all the time. Ours is a continual clock. There's the simple and logical explanation for the difference. But there is time for another play.
I had a conversation with a referee recently on the 7 circuit, and they're like, Fisher, how is it? As players, you can make mistakes all the time, and today we've seen plenty of mistakes. But as a referee, we are not allowed to make mistakes. And it's true, isn't it? We're criticising, for going over, but going under, but it's all in perspective, isn't it?
They are only human. Nearest Kate Alder over the top of that ball. Malloy as well, your two contenders for player of the match, but Kate Alder, the one to win it, is Craig with a good run. She went to number 8. Stoger, Burgess, Smith, who's been the sharpest of the Bristol backs today. They've got another opportunity here, Bristol. Right, Haley. It's done well since she's come on. Powell with a tackle though. Draws her down. ball, that contest on the ground again. Poppy Leach is nowhere near the back feet.
Totally.
Right in front of the referee. She's in at the side, just desperation. The lid of the cookie jar was slightly open. She just couldn't resist.
I think I lost a follicle.
Ross will go to touch. Did have that long injury delay, so time is ticking on despite what it says on our time clock on the top right hand side. Wasps don't rush to this line out, strangely enough. Hannah West wears 3, but does the throwing in the line out. Powell, Claudia McDonald. In terms of impact, so there's too many players who've made more impact than her since she's come on.
Yeah, it's been really impactful, really impactful.
Yeah, Malloy knocks it on, but that is it. The referee blows his whistle for full time, and it's Wasps who carry on this record against Bristol since it changed into the Tyrrells Premier 15s. That is 5 wins from 5 against Bristol, and on a away patch, home of Bristol here at Shaftesbury Park, it is Wasps who come away with the 4 points and the win. What a hard-fought game it was for both sides, but it's Wasps who have won against Bristol, 18 points to 10. And fully deserving of their victory, Heather Fisher.
Yeah, totally. Both teams had to dig really deep for that win, and you know, Wasps came off on the better half. However, both teams had opportunities, both teams created opportunities, and yeah, I kind of feel devastated for Bristol because they seem to get so close and don't yet, you know, convert it into points. But their time will come, and they're growing.
And what's going to be at top of the Kim Oliver, the head coach of Bristol Bears, what's going to be top of her list come analysis Monday, Tuesday?
You know, I firmly believe that, you know, if you're creating, you know, opportunities, you can't afford to have unforced errors. And you can't, in these games, it's so marginal, Johnny, that they count for everything. How many penalties have we seen today? And how many, you know, missed kicks as such as have we seen? That has to be converted, and if every player wants to be where they deserve to be, if that's how they say it, then the unforced errors have to go.
If you want to be in that top 4 in a shake-up come the end of the season, it's those kind of things they've got to address. But we are early days. This is round 4, of course. It is early days. It's a squad with a few changes for both, a handful of changes, some players coming in for both sides. Time they will settle down. I'm sure Kim Oliver will be saying that to her side, but that getting that ball away from the base of the ruck as well, I would say, was something else they need to look on, and the breakdown, of course.
Yeah, so when I watch them play today, I'm thinking, you know, can you beat the likes of Saracens? You know, can you compete against the top 2? And to do that, the tempo, the breakdown, you know, they've had tempo, then they've lost tempo, so that has to be sped up. And then how to use slow ball, how to utilise it, how to scan. Those things, you know, take time to teach and deliver. But the unforced errors is just disciplining when to go in is your role and when to stay out. And yeah, she's got to work it out, but nothing that the players can't do.
Well, let's move it on to the winners, then the victors. Let's move it on to Wasps. I put just one single letter, D.
Massive.
Did not concede a point in the second half.
That's massive, isn't it?
Huge.
That's massive. And that's what we're talking about now, isn't it? That's what we're saying about, you know, Bristol. So that's massive. And that's probably, to be honest, what's got them the win.
You work at the breakdown when you've got Claire Malloy in there, of course. You're going to be very, very good at the breakdown. As we see the try run.
You know, and Wasps were tested. They were fully tested to the last minute. You know, I said this game would be won or lost in the last 20 minutes, Johnny, and I think my crystal ball was correct.
It was. You see the tries from the game. Hannah West responded to the early penalty from Eleanor Snowsill, and then it was that penalty try, wasn't it, right at the death of the first half, and that pendulum seemed to be swinging the way of Bristol. Referee had no choice in the end. There had been a couple of penalties already, and eventually he gave the penalty try to Bristol, but then it was Wasps very, very early in the second half. Edgeworth with a penalty, Gordon with a penalty, and then it was a moment of individual brilliance and pace from Claudia MacDonald down that short side. She just spied her forward, quicker off the mark, big fend on Lily Stoger, and she was in the England international, showing all of her pace, and she would have done her claims for inclusion in England's autumn internationals. No harm at all with that kind of try, and that settled it, didn't it? Then Gordon had the conversion to make it an 8-point difference and basically shut the door on Bristol, and that's what she did. And there's smiles and laughs for the Wasp players, thoroughly deserving of the victory in the end. And all, of course, many people would have liked to have seen Harriet Miller-Mills come here today, but I suspect it's cautionary. Got a bump to the knee, had some ice on there, and done all of this without a player of her calibre.
Yeah, totally. You know, I obviously wish Harriet Miller-Mills the best of recovery. You know, hopefully it's nothing too major. But with someone as experienced as her now on the pitch and off the pitch in terms of her rehab and recovery, she'll know her body better than anybody else, and she'll be making that decision for herself. And she'll come back better and stronger like she has already. She's already proven that she can come back, and be a great loss. And Wasps did really well to find that fight within them to get the win, to get the momentum. And it probably came from a great half-time chat from Giselle. You know, tend to get the bottoms moving, but they did a great job.
And of course, Wasps will move on next week at home to Loughborough. Another really, really tough challenge for them. Another live stream games on englandrugby.com. There it is, confirmation of it. Look at that, it's almost like we rehearsed. Wasps FC Ladies against Loughborough Lightning next Saturday. And then following that, Loughborough Lightning against Harlequins. Then we're into those autumn internationals, Quilter internationals, of course, and a live stream game, Red Roses against Italy on Saturday 23rd of November. Of course, you can get tickets for those on englandrugby.com. And then we're back to league. Wasps again against Saracens. They just keep coming, don't they? Then the AASC League and Champions Trophy finals at Allianz Park on Wednesday, and Saturday 14th of December we're at the Stoop. Harlequins against Saracens. Plenty of live stream games for you coming up this season, and those are the games just before Christmas. Great that those have been announced just last week, and a chance for fans and other players to watch those games live. And if you can't see it, you can't be it. As a campaign going around, and to be able to see these games live. And talking to Giselle Mather, the Director of Rugby of the Wasps Women here, earlier today, she said it was a real test. They haven't had too many tests, that the games they've had before. Today was a real test, and they have come through, and we can hear from their captain and player of the match. Kate Older is down there with Lucy.
So Kate, a win on the road for your side today. That looked like hard work. How did you find it?
Yeah, you know what, we prepped a week for it to be a physical encounter, and it was exactly that. I think once we look at the stats, we defended for a lot of that game, which takes a lot of mental and physical ability, because they've, you know, when you look at their big runners, you've got the likes of Poppy Leach, Sarah Byrne running at you, so the defensive effort from our guys today, outstanding, and the few times that we did have the ball, we managed to convert, which led to the win. So unbelievably proud, but there are going to be some sore bodies out there tomorrow.
And you had to overcome adversity today. You found yourself on the wrong side of the referee at times, and you obviously got a sin bin. But are you proud of the resilience of the squad to still get the win?
Yeah, absolutely. We look again a lot at penalty count, and LJ's been amazing looking at that breakdown area, because we know that ultimately you can't win games without the ball, and ideally with a ref who's looking at the game 50-50. So at times we had to leave the breakdown, but for us it meant that we had the bodies on feet ready to take the runners. So for us, actually, I think we adapted pretty quickly, and then that meant that we could play the kind of defensive rugby we wanted to.
And it's all about building. What do you think you can take? What are your work-ons as you head into next week's game?
Loads. We've been building every week. To go down to Gloucester and lose so early on in the season was a real learning curve for us. We've done loads of video analysis. Today I think we can be proud of our defensive effort. There's still a lot we need to look at in attack in terms of playing the patterns that we train for week in and week out. So I think we're going to be doing a lot on the attacking phases. But all in all, I think we can finally take some real positives from a game.
Well, congratulations today. You are the Tyrrells Premier 15's player of the match, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Kate.
Where's her massive bag of crisps?
Have you got it?
No, well, yes, I popped in the boot of my car already. I know, deserving Kate Older, she really does. Leads from the front, doesn't she, Kate Older, the Wasp skipper and player of the match today as well. Just to lead from the front, and as you were saying it in commentary as well, her consistency of performance hardly ever dips.
Yeah, in attack from the off, she ran great lines and saw the space and gave that ball when she needed to. She's all over them, and she was all over Bristol in terms of their defence. She led from example. She put the big hits in, and leaders lead in different ways, don't they, Johnny? Some will talk the talk, some will talk and be quiet by their actions. She is a leader who is consistent, who led by example, and for me, that's what you want from your leaders, and that's exactly what she did today.
We'll Loughborough at home next week, Wasps. If there are things to be worked on, what are the top 3 on Giselle Mather's list?
I think controlling the tempo at the breakdown will be a massive one. They sorted out the breakdown in terms of the turnovers and the unforced errors, so if that can stay to bed, brilliant. Controlling that tempo and not being afraid to change the tempo when they need to, so they dictate the game whether on the back foot or the front foot, and scanning for that space. There has been so many opportunities to play on that blind side. Scanning for that space is so important.
Yeah, I'm not sure they use those back 3 players quite as effectively as they would have liked today. I mean, Tova Dirk, we saw glimpses of her pace, didn't we? And Katie Mason and Abby Dow swapping and changing wing and fullback. They want to get those kind of players into the game. I thought Gemma Rowland in the midfield was impressive alongside Kate Older.
Yeah, and those players are key, Johnny, in terms of seeing that space. They are the players that can see that space, and that's why when we talk about having that blind side, I'd expect those players to be able to see that space, get to that space, win that headspace, and kind of take it forward and drive it. We talk about space being by hands, but drive is, space is also a kicking game, playing through or playing over. There's space everywhere around us, and it's what team can identify that space the quickest gets there.
I think it's ferocious. I mean, a great example again of the Tyrrells Premier 15's rugby. It's ferocious at the breakdown. Absolutely no love lost between these two. As Kate Alder said, they knew it was going to be a really physical battle, and that's exactly what Wasps were up against today. And I think they knew that. One of the brightest minds in the game, men or women, simple as that, Giselle Mather, knew what was going to be ahead of them today, prepared well and adapted in game, and I think that may be one of the key things today. But let's not guess, let's hear from the lady herself. Giselle Mather is ready to speak to us now.
Close match that was. What are your overall reflections?
I'm exhausted and I didn't do anything. It was a fabulous game of rugby, really attritional. The scrum played a major role in that game, and that attritional battle, we had some problems to solve. We obviously had a card halfway through, and we had some problems to solve while we were out there. I was so proud of the girls as to the way that they did solve that. Bristol put more and more problems in there for us to solve, and on this occasion we were able to solve them. I thought our defence was absolutely outstanding. My belief is that we played with much less ball than they did, and defence again, and I'm enormously proud of them for the performance they've put in today.
And 4 points on the road. I know it's early in the season, but how important is that to pick up these points, keep on getting that winning momentum?
It's huge, absolutely huge, the result for us down here today. Obviously we lost to Gloucester a couple of weeks back. We took a bonus point out of it, but we were disappointed with that, and we were disappointed generally with the way that we played. So today was all about, okay, we're on the road. We did come down the night before to make sure that our preparation was right, and the girls have responded to that and have really put in a performance that we're all very proud of. And as you say, those 4 points, doesn't matter that we're only in week 4, they are really critical for later on down the line.
Congratulations today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Giselle Mather said to me before, we came down the night before, fairly unprecedented really, but with the early kick, and she said, well, there's no excuses for the players. And they responded very well. You could see the pride there from Giselle Mather. She was right in front of us in commentary, going ballistic at sometimes during the game, lives and breathes it. but very, very cool and calm in front of the camera there, and very rightly so proud of her team today.
She's been there, you know, as a player. She knows what it's like to be on the pitch. She knows what it's like to have, you know, to be both sides of this. And she's been a great coach. She's leading by example. She led by example. She's a great inspiration to the game. You know, personally, I truly believe she's great at what she does. And she instills that confidence in the players to go and play, but also the discipline. And the breakdown does come down to discipline.
Those Wasps who have beaten Bristol again. That's 5th time in a row in the Tyrrells Premier 15s that they have done that, and they picked up crucial 4 points on the road. Another great example of women's rugby from the top league, the best league probably in the world. But it's Bristol who lost at home 10 points to 18 against Wasps. From Heather Fisher and myself, Johnny Hammond, enjoy the rest of your weekend.